Hey guys, the name's Sydney, and today we are here to have a parked car conversation, and we're just going to discuss this topic that I found. So recently in one of my classes, we watched this documentary, and it's called In Defense of Food, where basically this guy was defending food and a lot of the myths that are out about food as to how some of them aren't true, and also how some of them are true, but there are ways around it, right? So one of the topics that he mentioned was the difference between margarine and butter. So that's something that kind of like, when he said it, it kind of like stuck with me, because I never really actually like thought too much about, like, butter and margarine not being the same until like recently, or when I had to start going grocery shopping myself, and I found out that margarine wasn't actually butter, like it's not butter, it's not real butter. So all my life I thought I had been eating real butter, but actually I wasn't. I was eating margarine. So I kind of did a little research on it and found out some things, and I just want to talk to you guys about it. So basically, I want to start off by saying that back in the day, like, old studies, scientists and food, critics and stuff, they found that, or they thought that butter led to an increased risk, or this is kind of a fact, So butter causes an increased level of saturated fat, okay? And this increased level of saturated fats led to, or leads to, an increased level of heart disease, right? Which is why they started switching over to margarine instead of butter. Now, butter is made of churning cream, which it comes from cows. So, and like I said before, it's mostly composed of saturated fats. However, it's not a processed food, since it's more like natural. It's not something that you have to like chemically or mechanically make. It's just a physical method, like it's not anything that's processed. But another good thing about real butter is that it has this vitamin called K2, okay? And K2 basically is related to improving bone health. So it helps prevent cancers that are related to bones. Also, it helps prevent osteoporosis and also heart disease. Now, although butter is high in cholesterol, that's not a bad thing. Like, a while ago, people used to think that cholesterol was bad, but it's actually not bad. So once your body detects a certain level of cholesterol being ingested or whatever, your body will actually shut off its own production of cholesterol to accommodate for this, so that you don't have increased levels of cholesterol. So although butter does have a high cholesterol content, it's not really a bad thing, okay? Now, butter is composed of 50% saturated fats, and the remaining 50% is water and unsaturated fats. So it's not too unhealthy for you, being that half of it is saturated fats and the other half is unsaturated fats and waters. So it's relatively healthy, Okay, so that's all I have about butter. So next I want to talk about margarine, okay? Margarine is basically a processed food that looks like butter and tastes like butter, but it's actually vegetable oil in a hardened form, okay? So vegetable oil, or margarine, is high in unsaturated fats. So it's considered healthier than butter because it doesn't have as much saturated fats in it, okay? And studies found that replacing unsaturated fats with saturated fats led to a 17% decrease in health problems, okay? Or heart problems, not health problems, heart problems. Well, health problems too, but heart problems, okay? But another bad thing, or a bad thing about margarine is that it is high in omega-6. Okay, so you got two omegas, or as well as more than two, but the most two important, or most two that are known, are omega-6 and omega-3. Omega-3 is considered anti-inflammatory, and omega-6 actually does the opposite of this, which promotes chronic inflammation in high enough amounts. So omega-6 is something that you want to try to stay away from if you can. You don't want to consume too much of it because, like I said, it can cause chronic inflammation. Okay, now to get this margarine into a solid form where it looks like butter, they have to go through this process called hydrogenation. Okay, and hydrogenation is basically exposing the vegetable oil to high heat, high pressure, hydrogen gas, and a metal catalyst. But however, during this process, it causes some of the polyunsaturated fats to convert into trans fats, which aren't good fats. Okay, trans fats are not good, bad. Okay, but it's a good thing, hydrogenation, because it changes it to solid at room temp, and it also increases the shelf life of the product. So margarine has a longer shelf life than butter, probably, pretty sure. All right, but since that process converts some of the unsaturated fats into trans fats, recently the food industry has found a new way to do this same method without creating the trans fats, and it's called esterification. Okay, esterification. And basically it does the exact same thing. It hardens the vegetable oil into a solid form, but it's considered healthier because it doesn't produce trans fats as a side product. Okay, now like I said, trans fats are bad. Okay, they lead to an increased risk of heart disease and other chronic health issues. So you want to try to stay away from trans fats also, if you can, as much as possible, because this can lead to a lot of health problems. Okay, now also, like I said before, I mentioned omega-6, and omega-6 can be found in a few types of vegetable oils, such as sunflower, corn, soybean, and cottonseed. Okay, so try to stay away from these types of vegetable oils if you can, because like I said, those are high in omega-6, which you want to stay away from. Okay, so the bottom line of this discussion is, which one is healthier? What would you rather choose? I feel like although butter and margarine looks the same, I don't feel like they taste the same. Like, I've personally had both, and butter to me is way better than margarine. Like, it's like way, way better. Okay, but the fact that butter has more saturated fats and margarine has less saturated fats, it's like margarine is healthier, but then again, if it creates the trans fat byproduct, then butter is healthier. So it's like, it's like a lose-lose situation. But personally, I would choose butter simply because it's not a processed food, and although it does have 50% saturated fats, the other 50% is only unsaturated fat in water. So I don't feel like it's not bad for you. Like, I feel like it's okay to eat, and plus I don't eat butter in like large amounts anyways. Like, I only put it in certain things. So, but that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.